Hello guys, today Ukrainian drones have destroyed Russia's actually the largest in the world, gas processing plant in Orenburg region of the Russian Federation. One more problem for Gazprom, once an extremely wealthy Russian company and now a company on the top of the Russian debtors, on the brink of bankruptcy, and a very vivid illustration of the problems inside the Russian economy. One more oil refinery destroyed in Samara region, again after a visit of Ukrainian drones, exposing the weakness of the Russian air defense. As I report this video, the evacuation of the Ukrainian miners continues because Russians decided to target a mine. Please compare the sites that we choose to demilitarize in Russia and how they keep targeting civilian infrastructure in Ukraine. This is a very vivid reminder that Putin should travel to The Hague, not Budapest. By the way, I receive a lot of questions about how can Putin under sanctions travel to Budapest, a capital of the EU country, to meet with Trump. So I think there are a lot of things we can discuss today. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, and if you want to see the defeat of the Russian Federation, the demilitarization of this evil empire that has already started, and Putin in The Hague, subscribe. We will discuss all of that on the channel, and please share the videos to spread the truth and to demonstrate your solidarity with Ukraine. That's super important for me personally and for all of us here. So let's begin with the success of the Ukrainian armed forces, because Ukrainian drones once again landed very loud in Orenburg region, where the world's largest gas processing plant is located. It is a part of a very big gas-chemical complex that belongs to Gazprom in Russia. And it processes gas not just from Orenburg of Russia, but from any other regions of the Russian Federation and from Kazakhstan. Literally the largest gas processing plant, giving Russia's budget a lot of bloody money for the war machine. And actually, I have put down it could process 45 billion cubic meters, which is a lot. But right now, it had to suspend the intake. It had to stop working because, once again, of these very inexpensive weapons destroying such an expensive machine and leading to more problems for the Russian budget. Because this processing plant belonged to Gazprom. And many of you know this name. We often speak about Gazprom, demonstrating how failed Putin's blitzkrieg now destroys Russian economy. And this is just another problem in a big list of problems that Gazprom is fighting at the moment. Recently, Russian Forbes put it on top of Russian companies that are huge debtors. Altogether, they owe something like 20 trillion rubles, and in Russia they started measuring everything in trillions. Once again, a very vivid demonstration of what really happens to Russian businesses, to the Russian economy, and indeed to all the people inside the Russian Federation. One more oil refinery was destroyed in Samara. They did not manage to prevent the visit of the Ukrainian drones, and this leads to more oil refining facilities paralyzed and less gasoline available. It is already the largest gasoline crisis ever, and not just Russia had to stop exporting it. They don't have enough of fuel to sell on gas stations. Hundreds of gas stations now closed inside Russia. And believe me, Russia can be defeated. This process has already started, and it was actually triggered by Putin's madness and the desire to, begin this blitzkrieg, which turned into extremely exhausting war. So now is not the time to appease that dictator. Please subscribe, comment, share these videos, push bell notification. This all helps to demonstrate our unity, especially when ideas to appease Putin come from the White House again. It was not a surprise for me, but honestly, after so many perfect offers for Putin coming from Donald Trump being rejected, I was surprised that Trump again wants to meet him, wants to speak with him. And this is offensive, this is wrong, and there are a lot of reasons that I can tell you prove it will not work out, but okay. Ukrainians want peace more than anyone else, but please never equate invaders and people who defend their country. When Trump said that like it's time to end everything and return back home, a kind reminder, that's exactly what we want. Return back home to our 1991 borders, and there are thousands of Ukrainians whose homes now destroyed or occupied by the Russian army. I know 1000% that this conversation in Budapest, if it happens, will not bring anything. This will just give 2 more weeks for Putin to bomb Ukrainian territories and maybe for Ukrainian drones to keep demilitarizing the Russian Federation, thus making this world a safer place. And there is a question, how can Putin travel to Budapest being under sanctions? He cannot travel to the United States. He cannot travel in the airspace of the European Union. And Trump's invitation for Putin to Budapest is a very evil precedent because it's actually, like gives this idea that rules do not exist, that you can break them if someone stronger invites you. And I'm actually waiting to see how countries will react if Putin wants to cross their airspace. And there are a lot saying they won't accept it in Poland, in Romania, so maybe he will take a very long route from Turkey to some Middle Eastern countries and only then via Black Sea, via Serbia, to Budapest. We will see, but one thing that I can guarantee you, this conversation will not change anything. And no one in Ukraine will agree to give up our territories or exchange our territories for our territories. It's nonsense. It is just an invitation for Putin to continue if after so many war crimes committed literally online, after so many bad things done to your countries, this hybrid warfare, drones in your airspace, and many, many other things that I don't need to enumerate here, he is granted with the Ukrainian territories, the world will be in great trouble. We protect not only our borders, we protect international law and agreements that help this planet survive after the Second World War. Let me know, what do you think about this idea to meet in Budapest? And as a Ukrainian, I can tell you, we are not nervous. We do not expect anything. We understand these are just 2 more weeks. And unfortunately, I also have to speak about Dnipro. In Dnipro region, Russians have just targeted a mine, and it was during this working hours with 192 miners underground. This is not a strategic military facility, and this is not even a strategic energy facility. These are 192 people working underground and endangered by Russia's intentional strike, just another war crime. The evacuation continues. We hope everything will be okay as it can be and all people will be saved. Maybe they were protected by the ground above them, but never advise Ukrainians to freeze this conflict because it will lead to more problems, more tragedies. We need to return all of our territories. We need to defeat Russia. We need to see Putin in The Hague, not Budapest, in The Hague. Remember to check my new video on Anna Danilchuk channel where we actually speak about this extremely obvious difference between Moscow, St. Petersburg, and life in smaller Russian cities or cities of the Russian Federation. And I remind you an extremely important moment that many forget. Russia is not the same as the Russian Federation. And also follow me on X, Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, Discord. All the links you will find in the description of this video. And subscribe if you're new, because like half of the people watching these videos are new, and we have a very kind, intelligent and respectful community. So consider joining us and demonstrating your solidarity, not just with Ukraine, but with all people who value human life and respect human dignity. Check our merch shop. There are lots of good items that work well as reminders and conversation starters about Ukraine. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel. Warmest greetings again from Kyiv, the heart of brave Ukraine. And I'm so happy that you can travel with me. Love you very much, friends and family. And thank you for standing with Ukraine. Slava Ukraini!